All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. I'm the brother I now from GMS Dallas. I got the Elder Yatazak here from GMS Dallas as well. And we're going to be continuing the series of Second Esdras. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. And last week we stopped kind of like in the middle or the beginning of chapter 2. Let me go ahead and present my screen here. So we're going to start from verse 13 and continue on. And when you read in this book, especially the first couple chapters, it's the context is that Ezra was in captivity during the Medo-Persian Empire, and he was one of the prophets, one of the men that the Lord was dealing with at that time. So he received, multiple visions, and we're going to get into it, of course. But this is what happens when you are in the spirit and in tune with the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, the Lord. He's going to reveal His secrets unto you. Okay, so we, through the grace of Yahweh Shai, we have access to these secrets. Like Yahweh Shai said in Matthew 13, he said, many prophets and righteous men desire to see the things that the disciples were seeing. Okay. At that time that Yahweh Shai was on the scene. So how much more now? Okay, we have the ability to see these things as well, and it's a blessing. Okay. So unless you had anything to call, I'm gonna go ahead and get started in verse 13.
Yeah, just this chapter is so heavy. It goes from the prophets being given the word to give to the people to gather the elect to be ready for when the Lord comes, all the way into the consummation of the marriage between the bridegroom and the bride. The bridegroom being Yahweh Shai and the bride being the nation of Israel. You see, this is one of those chapters that progress from captivity to kingdom. We lean on this chapter a lot. So going into the full chapter, like the spirit been on the apostles to do is to go in the full chapters and get the full breakdown. You know, and this is one of those chapters that's very inspirational to those that are sincere. So it's the spirit that we had to chop the lesson in half, because this moving forward from verse 13 on down is very heavy, and we take this thing very seriously. You see, so Lord willing, this thing will be edifying to the elect. Make you fight even harder.
Right. That's right. Um, so let me go ahead and continue here in Second Ezra chapter 2 and verse 13. Okay, and really when you start from the top, it's another thus said the Lord statement that the Lord is making concerning Israel and their history. All right, the history of how we were brought out of captivity, and how we ended up rebelling against the Lord. you know, and then ultimately those that um, endure to the end, that remnant, they're going to basically receive that blessing. Okay, so that's pretty much the sentiment that's going into. So I'll start at verse 10. Actually, it says, "Thus said the Lord unto Ezra, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel." So you see, it makes that distinction there, which we brought this out last week or last time we went into this. There's a distinction. Not They are not all Israel, which are of Israel. Okay, we're talking about the elect, the remnant here. Their glory also will I take unto me, and give these the everlasting tabernacles which I have prepared for them. All right. Yahweh Shai said, I go and prepare a place for thee. Okay. So Yahweh Shai, he's preparing a place for us. Ultimately, when he establishes his kingdom and we inherit the blessings, we're going to be able to partake in those things that the Lord is preparing for those that love him. Okay. Verse 12 says, they shall have a tree of life for an ointment of sweet savor. They shall neither labor nor be weary. And when we get to verse 18, it's pretty much going to make the same sentiment here. which we brought out in Revelation 22. Last time we went over this, about basically the tree of life being the which will be in the kingdom is going to give us access to the full wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from on high. All right. It says, verse 13, go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you that they may be shortened. Okay. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. And that's the sentiment that, we have in these times, man. We're hastening the return of Yahushai. Okay. We're praying for those days to be shortened because the scripture says, if those days were not shortened in Revelation, if those days were not shortened, all right, there will be no flesh saved. Okay, the days were basically the days of Jacob's trouble. Okay, the days of tribulation. Okay, so and as long as we're down here in this kingdom, we're being tried, man. Okay, it says verse 14, take heaven and earth to witness, for I have broken the evil in pieces and created the good. For I live, saith Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay. And there's going to be multiple times um, that scriptures and revelation are going to flow in tandem with this. A lot of this is kind of like end time prophecy. All right. Matter of fact, let me just get a precept real quick. Because the scriptures say that the last enemy that will be defeated, if I can spell enemy right, that will be defeated is death. Let me get that real quick. Uh-oh. You good, Zaquan?
Yeah, I'm closer to the Wi-Fi. This gay ass, weak ass connection bullshit. I always acting up. But
Yep.
whatever, man. Whatever.
Yep.
Satan, you a faggot, and I'm closer to the modem, bitch.
That's
Damn.
right. That's right. I said Revelation, but it's actually in Corinthians, First Corinthians, which is the spirit, because we're going to get First Corinthians 15 uh, later on. But I'll just get straight to the point because we read just to get back to it real quick, where it says, "I take heaven and earth to witness, for I have broken the evil in pieces and created good. For I live, saith Yahweh Shem Shai." So a precept that comes to mind here is 1 Corinthians 15 and verses 25. Verse 26 is the point. It says, "For he must reign till he hath put all enemies under his feet." Okay, so ultimately, Yahweh Shem Shai is going to, excuse me, the Most High Heavenly Father Yahweh is going to use Yahweh Shai to subdue all principalities. Everything is going to be put underneath Yahweh Shai's feet. Okay, it says, "And the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death." Okay, so that's ultimately going to be eternal life. When death is destroyed, that means the absence of death is life. So eternal life is going to come to those who wait on Yahweh Shai to the end. Okay, and verse 15, and there's a bunch of other precepts we can get, but we're just going to go through it. Verse 15 says, "Mother, embrace thy children and bring them up with gladness." Now this is going back to referring to the land again. Okay, it says, "And bring them up with gladness, and make their feet as fast as a pillar. For I have chosen thee," said the Lord. Right? Scriptures like First Peter chapter 2 talks about us being rooted and built up in Yahweh Shai as a spiritual house. Right? Um, that all goes in tandem with this. Okay, it says verse 16, "And those that be dead, all right, will I raise up again from their places." Okay, now this happened when Yahushai was crucified. Some individuals, I'm not sure exactly what, if that's in John, I'm not sure, or if it's in another gospel account where it specifically talks about individuals was raised up from their graves. When Yahushua was crucified. All right, but even more so, um, when Yahushua returns, okay, in the fullness of his power and glory, and talks about that in First Thessalonians 4th chapter. Um, and also in Second Corinthians, which we're just in Second Corinthians 15, right? So I don't want to go too fast, but you think we'll be able to finish this chapter in one swoop, Elder?
Shit, it don't matter as long as we as long as we telling the truth for however long the video lasts.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I say if brothers got to drop off, they can. But yeah, we ain't doing nothing else.
Yeah, no, kind of. I just want to make sure I'm not going too fast.
No,
I'm gonna
I would say nah. If we gotta cut it up, then we gotta cut it up.
okay. I'm gonna get the I do want to get First Thessalonians 4, um, and verse 13. It says, "But I would not have you ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope." Because the people in this world, they going through all this hell, the same hell that we go through, but they're going through it suffering as evildoers, basically doing, catching hell in vain, catching hell, for the shit that they deserve, to suffer for. But we are laboring for a greater cause than fleshly fulfillment, corruptible crowns. We're laboring for that incorruptible crown, right?
God,
So in verse 14 it says, "For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahushua will the Most High bring with him." Okay, so when it comes to
fucking gay.
Yahushua's return,
Damn.
everything good? Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. When it comes to Yahushua's return, all right, it says those that sleep in Yahushua means those who died, you know, believing in Yahushua, died doing the work. You know, those are the ones that's gonna be raised up. Scriptures talk about the dead in Yahushua will be raised up. Okay, and when Yahushua returns back, okay, those men, they're going to meet us, they're going to meet the elect. They're going to be with Yahushua during that reunion time. All right. And scriptures talk about the dead and Mashiach shall rise first. Okay. They're going to receive those the incorruptible bodies. All right. And that's how the salvation is going to work out. All right. So this is basically a precept to First Corinthians 14. Okay. Um, it says, let me see here, verse 17. It says, "Fear not, thou mother of the children, for I have chosen thee, said the Lord. For thy help will I send my servants Isaiah and Jeremiah." It says Isaiah and Jeremy, but I'll say Isaiah and Jeremiah, "after whose counsel I have sanctified and prepared for thee 12 trees laden with diverse fruits."
In
Which,
the New Living Translation, that little blue book we got with the apocrypha in it, it says
uh-huh.
Isaiah. It says Isaiah and Jeremy. For
Okay,
anybody that
good.
want to act stupid,
Yeah, yeah. I didn't look at it before, what I'm saying, motherfucker talk shit.
but that was
Oh,
we been knowing that.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. So, and by the way, in verse 19, where it says, mountains flowing with milk and honey, and seven mighty mountains, and uh, oh, I'm sorry, verse 18, excuse me, in the middle where it says, "After whose counsel I have sanctified and prepared for thee 12 trees laden with diverse fruits." The 12 trees laden with diverse fruits represents the tree of life. Okay. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is going to come from that. Is going to be, like Scripture says, when that which is in part is done away, then that which is perfect is going to come into play. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
roughly paraphrasing. Okay, so the limitation that this flesh uh weighs down or puts down on the spirit, okay, is going to be taken away. All right, and it's going to be, unlimited wisdom, unlimited knowledge and life and understanding. Okay, unimaginable um, blessings. Right?
God.
It says, and it continues. It says in verse 19, and as many fountains flowing with milk and honey. Is there going to be literal a fountain of milk and a literal fountain of honey? No, this is symbolic. Milk and honey represents prosperity, access, you know, wealth, all of that, right?
God.
It says, and seven mighty mountains, whereupon there grow roses like lilies, whereby I will fill my children with joy. Okay, so ultimately, the Lord is going to establish, the government. He's going to establish the throne of David, man. We went into that a couple weeks ago, a couple classes ago. He's going to establish that, and through that, we're going to be able to, inherit the kingdom. Okay, we talked about. I think we talked about it yesterday or 2 days ago. Having your own land, like even a entry level, like lower class Israelite, he had at least a little bit of land, because what is that in the end of Genesis when Isaac no when Jacob was talking to Pharaoh, um basically he was telling them like our people are shepherds by trade, so
Mm-hmm.
it's natural for us to have land and sheep and cattle and stuff, so it's gonna be excess of that. Okay, that's real. That's gonna be real life. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get a precept. Yeah, we can use this one.
Boy, this temperature done dropped, boy.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah, yeah. Yep. Welcome
yeah,
to welcome to November. I guess we're almost in November.
man. Yeah, I'm in the backyard lighting the fire up. Shit.
Oh man. Quick precept. St. John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. All right. And this would be red letter. I don't know why it keeps taking off the red letter, but these are the words of Yahweh Shai. Okay. So Yahweh Shai, he's establishing life, true life on the earth. Okay, not this fake excuse of life, fighting you in slavery, under Esau, begging to you working a whole year just to take 1 week off, you know,
Man,
what I'm saying? And then the week that you do take off, as soon as you come back, they got all this BS, extra
waiting
hell,
on you. Yeah,
back pay
waiting
hell.
on you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we have no rest here, man. So we should be hastening the downfall of this bitch every day. Okay. And it's coming, man. So this is the mindset that we have. All right. Verse 20, back in Second Ezra chapter 2, it says, do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless, give to the poor, defend the orphan, clothe the naked. See, this is brotherly love right here. This is charity. This is the sacrifice that Yahweh Shem Yahshai is truly pleased with.
Gathering the elect,
Kind.
bidding them to the marriage. You see, all the things that we've been instructed to do is pleasing to the Heavenly Father, man. You see, gather my people up, let them know I'm coming, let them know that I haven't forsaken them. You know, and that's huge, man. That's what I'm saying. I was like, who need this motivation more than the Israelites?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no fucking body. Yeah, everybody else doing whatever the hell they want to do. They ugly
Hmm.
asses.
Yep. That's it. You know. But this is the motivation we need because at the end of the day, we believe in something that nobody else, that the majority of our own people don't even believe in.
That's right.
So, this is the motivation that we need. And even, speaking on motivation, it even talks about that in the scripture we were just reading, First Thessalonians 4:18. After it breaks down, like, like how the resurrection is going to work, it says the last verse, wherefore comfort one another with these words, right? So our consolement and our faith and our solace comes from the words of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, the words of the hope of the resurrection and the return. Really, Yahushua has already been resurrected, Slakia. The return of Yahushua, all right, and the establishment of his kingdom. Okay.
And it's just like I was saying, if you got a woman, there's some points in time in your relationship where she's gonna be panicked about something, and it's your duty to make sure that she realizes that she tripping, to calm her
Yep.
back down. That's what the Lord do for us. You know what I'm saying? We get to the point where we're like, fuck, man, you know what I'm saying? Catching all this hell and doing all, but the scriptures let us know. The scriptures is our husband letting us know everything is gonna be okay if we trust
Yep.
him. You got it.
All right. Um, so let's continue on here. In verse 21, it says, heal the broken and the weak. Laugh not a lame man to scorn. Defend the maimed, and let the blind man come into the sight of my clearness. Man. Yeah, and this isn't only talking about uh, actual, like, people who have these physical ailments spiritually too. A lot of our people are spiritually lame, spiritually blind, spiritually maimed, you know, and they have to come into the truth. If it's destined or predetermined for them to come into the truth, then you know we can't judge no man on his outer appearance. Okay. Um, but also too, physically too, like there's gonna be people that's gonna be healed. Okay, all types of miracles are about to take place, man. Okay, it says verse 22, keep the old and young within thy walls. Okay, uh, those who can't protect themselves, Esau talking about what's it called, not WIC, EBT, food stamps.
Snap.
Yeah, SNAP and all that shit. You know, we didn't need SNAP back then. We had charity back then. We had different things that, within our culture. I mean, in the kingdom, it's not going to be necessary. But in these times where we're still in the intermission period, because right now we're in the betrothal period, but we're not consummated yet to the marriage. So we still have to fight,
That's right.
infirmities and things like that, and imperfections in the flesh. Okay, but we doing it as a means to an end. Okay, knowing that we're going to receive a reward at the end, right? Um, so continuing on in verse 23, it says, wheresoever thou findest the dead, and this is what Tobit was doing, you know, or is it Tobias? Which one was the son? I think Tobias was the son, right? And Tobit was the
Yeah.
father.
Yep.
Yeah, Tobit was, and he was getting persecuted for burying the dead, you know, and but no, you're supposed to bury the dead, right? It says, wheresoever thou findest the dead, take them and bury them, and I will give thee the first place in my resurrection. You see, because you're showing respect for the Lord's people. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Now in these times, we're gonna be seeing a lot of dead. We're gonna be seeing so many dead bodies. We're gonna be able to bury them. You know, but just amongst that time, it was a level of uh, national camaraderie that we still had. But now it's only gonna get worse now. All right. But these were the words of encouragement. All right. It says, verse 24, abide still, O my people, and take thy rest, for thy quietness, for thy quietness still come. Okay. Reminds me of what Yahushua said. He said his yoke is easy. Take my yoke upon you. Right. For his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Okay, Matthew 11 and verse 28. Okay, you know what? Hold on. Um, I'll start at verse 27 because it really ties into what we're going into. It says, "All things." This is the words of Yahweh Shai. "All things are delivered unto me of my Father, and no man knoweth the Son but the Father. Neither knoweth any man the Father save the Son, and he to whomsoever the Son will reveal him." So anybody claiming that, yeah, I know the Most High is dealing with me, the Lord's dealing with me, but you're not giving any reverence to the Son, you really don't know the Most High. You really don't know the Father.
Yep, false prophet.
You know, there's many people like that. So
Oh
bypassing
yeah,
your Yahweh Shai.
and a whole lot of them wear fringes everywhere they goddamn go.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of monkeys.
Good. Yeah, like the ones that Esau released off the side of the road. They belong with them.
Right.
But it says, verse 28, these are Yahushua continuing on. In verse 28 says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden." Okay, those that are actually ready to get up out of here. Okay, those that are doing the work, and maintaining the faith, and watching. Yahushua said, "Come unto me." It says, "And I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls." Right. So we're following Yahweh Shai, we're following in his footsteps, the actions, the mindset, everything, the spirit that he had on him, even he's provided to us through the comforter.
Hey,
Right.
can you get Revelation 14 and 4 real quick?
Okay. Revelation.
Follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth.
Yep.
And that's what lets you know it's spiritual. Because who's gonna follow a lamb? You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Follow the lamb whithersoever he goeth. That's talking about the Lord. You follow the
Right.
Lord. I would say the Lord is the shepherd and the lamb. That's how cold the Lord is. Anything that's gonna move you towards salvation, Yahweh made Yahweh shot that. Okay?
That's it. Yeah,
You got it.
that's it. Yep. It says Revelation 14:4 says, "These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are
See,
virgins."
and that not being defiled with women and being virgin is talking about the understanding of the scriptures versus other philosophies of the Bible. You see how Eve was corrupted? Eve was corrupted by the serpent, you see, because she allowed another philosophy to penetrate her mind, which destroyed the kingdom. Okay, read that
Yeah.
again.
It says, "These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins."
See, these are those that believed on the Lord. These are those that follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. You see, following the Lord and having an understanding of what pleases the Most High. That's what it's all about. You see, and those that said no, being a Muslim ain't the truth. Following Buddha ain't the truth. Believing in yourself, the team of me, that ain't the truth. You see, so when you stand fast, but when you hold fast to that which is good, you follow in the Lamb with us. So if he goes, the Lord said he's here for the Israelites. The Lord said Edomites are the devil. The Lord said he's going to destroy these Edomites. The Lord said he's going to put 2/3 to death for them being wicked. All these things that the Lord said, we not changing that up because your ass is uncomfortable.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. It says, "For they are virgins."
I was saying,
These are they.
I would say we willing to die for this thing, man. You see, and the
Mhm.
reason we willing to die for this thing is because the only option is the truth. You see, I want to say if you see a miracle, can't nobody tell you that you didn't see it. You see, so if you're gonna tell me to say that I didn't see something that I saw, then you're gonna have to kill me if that's the problem. If that's the issue. You see,
Yep.
that's how we feel about this truth. We seen the Lord's resurrection through the scriptures, man, through the Comforter. You got it.
That's right. Okay. It says, "These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth." These were redeemed from among men, being the first
These were
fruits.
these were redeemed from among men. They were bought back. They were bought back to present to the Heavenly Father. You see, because we repented. Those that were redeemed. Everybody's not going to be redeemed. Okay, go ahead.
It says, "These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto the Most High and to the Lamb. And
See
in
that?
their mouth,
I was
yeah,
saying, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's will is fulfilled, man. Period, point blank. That's what it's all about. And that's why this chapter is so heavy. Because it goes from us catching hell to us being risen up to us being consummating that marriage in the chariots, man, being caught up with the Lord. Go ahead.
yep. It says, verse 15, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of the Most High."
That's what I'm saying. The no guile, pal. When the Lord was creating everything and setting everything up, he already wrote in the story that it was going to be. So, matter of fact, um, let me see. When you look up the word elect, I believe eklegea or something like that, but it goes into those spirits that the Lord. Oh, it says that the Lord gave mercy to certain persons before all this happened. And you can read about that in Ephesians chapter 1. You see, the Lord set up certain people before the earth was created. He set up certain persons, certain spirits that was gonna follow the Lamb, follow His Son, no matter what was going on. You got it.
Yep. Yeah, that word elect is eclectos, um, picked out, chosen to obtain salvation through Mashiach.
You see that?
Uh,
That's what I'm saying. They were picked out and chosen. You see? So if this happened before any of us was even born, how you gonna tell somebody that's around? How you gonna tell somebody that the Lord didn't do that? You know what I'm saying? No, no, no. The Lord chose you from the beginning. You see? And if they fully persuaded in their own mind that the Lord chose them from the beginning, they gonna move a certain type of way. Period. Point blank. You got it.
yep. It says, the Messiah, which is Yahweh Shai, is called elect as appointed by the Most High to the most exalted office conceivable. It
That's what I'm
says,
saying. That goes into reigning with Yahweh Shai for 1,000 years because you didn't take because you didn't agree with the beast, you didn't agree with his image, and you didn't take his mark. You see, all this is gonna go back to that. You see, we coming up on the most hectic time in American history, in the world history. You
yep,
see, and Jake ain't gonna be ready for it. Jake ain't gonna be ready for it. Why? Because the Lord didn't choose them ahead of time. You see, some ashes are made for fire. I've been saying that a lot this week. You see, 2/3 of the nation of Israel was born just to get burnt the fuck up. You got it.
facts. This is the place where judgment goes out. You know.
That's right.
Um, so was I think that was it on that precept you were looking for, I believe.
Yeah, follow the lamb with us over he go. That's what I wanted.
Okay, all right. So going back to Second Ezra 2 and verse 25 says, "Nourish thy children, O thou good nurse, establish their feet." And keep in mind too, there was a lot of emphasis on the land at this time because Israel was entering back into the land. Like not the entire nation, but like Judah, Benjamin, and Levi mostly, they were entering back into the land um, back during the return, from the Babylonian exile. So the Lord, when you end up fast forwarding to situations like the Maccabean revolt during the Grecian Empire, um, the Lord had, multiple instances where He delivered Israel, um, you know, during that time as well when we were in the land, uh, during the, we'll say, Second Temple era. So that was due to the Most High, blessing uh, blessing us during that time as well, to a degree, so that we didn't just get utterly wiped out, because which we easily could have gotten wiped out um, multiple occasions. But it says, verse 25, "Nourish thy children, O thou good nurse, establish their feet. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number." Okay, so the Lord said He gonna set aside a certain number of Israelites that they gonna they gonna make it. Okay, just like when Yahweh Shai said there be some standing here among us that shall not taste of death till we see the Son of Man coming in power and glory.
Mm-hmm.
So there's gonna be Israelites that ultimately the Lord preserves. Okay, they're not gonna have to go through death. Okay, like a normal man does. Okay, and that's going to be a beautiful thing, being able to be transformed from corruptible bodies to incorruptible without having to go through death. We hope to be of that number. Okay, and it says verse 27. It says, "Be not weary, for when that day of trouble and heaviness cometh." See, this is talking about Jacob's trouble. Okay, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. Which I think we went into when we was covering last time Isaiah 65. My servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry, and we shall have the servants shall have drink, and they shall be thirsty. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Same sentiment here. All right, verse 28 says, "The heathen shall envy thee." But they shall. Right now, the heathen are not envying us. Right now, we're the offscouring of the earth. All right, but the roles are going to be reversed. Okay, when Yahweh shall returns. It says, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, said the Lord. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So all of the hate and envy and everything towards Israel is not gonna have any effect. Okay, right now they can put some hell on us, but um that's not gonna be the case forever. And these are prophecies that we have to look forward to, really, like verses 26, 27, 28, 29. These are feel good prophecies, right?
Yeah.
It says, "My hands shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell." So, are you saying that this hell right here is talking about? See, ask Vocab Malone. Well, I don't know. I don't think he believes in the Apocrypha, but according to
He don't.
Vocab Malone, yeah, yeah, I'm not surprised. According to Vocab Malone, this will be talking about eternal fire being burnt forever. All right, your spirit, excuse me, your spirit being burnt forever, because you won't have a body, but your spirit's being burnt up forever eternally. Which that's not on point, man. That's off.
Oh, man.
Okay, all right. Your children not seeing hell, meaning your children not dying. That's a blessing. Your children not seeing the grave, which hell, the word for hell is damn. I'm having a brain fart. Um, The word for hell, well, I gotta look it up now.
Shot a
Shot
wall.
a wall, shot a wall, the water, yeah, the water. Shot a wall, which is a grain, excuse me, the grave or a pit. Okay, so your children not seeing the grave, that's a blessing. You don't have to worry about your children, dying anymore. Not only yourself being immortal, but your children too,
Right,
right?
because in Ezekiel, what's that? Ezekiel 9 and 4, it talks about kids getting destroyed along with men, women, and maidens. You see, so
Mm-hmm.
ain't nobody exempt. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But in the kingdom, we're talking about where it says the children are gonna play with asps and lions and stuff. You know, like we
Hmm.
ain't gonna worry about that. We ain't gonna have to worry about all dang. Gotta get a babysitter now. They're gonna be able to roam around and do whatever the hell they want because they're gonna be they're gonna be immortal too, right? So it says, verse 31. Remember thy children that sleep. Okay, which we just covered this in Second Ezra chapter 4. It says, "For I will bring them out of the sides of the earth," and that's talking about the graves. Okay, those that died in Yahweh. There's going to be a beautiful situation when they get resurrected. Okay, it says, "For I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth and show mercy unto them, for I am merciful," said the Lord Almighty. Okay, it's going to be a beautiful thing, man. Okay, it says, because this is something that, by the way, like what is it? I think it's Revelation 6. those who are under the throne of the Most High, constantly asking when is he gonna recompense
Oh
those
yeah,
that,
yeah. That's
you know what
chapter
I'm saying?
6.
Yeah, so there's souls that's constantly asking the Lord, Lord, when are you gonna avenge the blood of the righteous that was spilled on the earth? Like it's a constant thing, bro. So when it happens, it's gonna be a glorious day, right? So verse 32 says, "Embrace thy children until I come and show mercy unto them, for."
Uh, yeah. You might need to go in and start back over. Yeah, just go straight ahead, then back straight up.
Oh, okay. I think you're not. Let me mute you, Zaquan, until you get back. Um, all right. It says, continuing in verse 33 says, I, Esdras, received a large, received, I'm sorry, I skipped verse 32, Salaki. Verse 32 says, embrace thy children until I come and show mercy unto them, for my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail. Okay. And that reminds me of a scripture in Lamentations where it talks about it is of the Lord's mercies. I think it's Lamentations 3, that we're not consumed. They are renewed every morning, right? Um, so hey, this is all according to the goodwill of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And that's actually the end of that specific we'll say like saying from the Lord. Um, So from there, it kind of transitions to Ezra having a vision uh, upon Mount Sinai, which Mount Horeb and Mount Sinai are the same. Let me see. Okay, good. All right. So it says in verse 33, it says, I Ezra received the charge of the Lord upon the Mount Horeb or Mount Sinai. It says that I should go unto Israel, but when I came unto them, they set me at naught and despise the commandment of the Lord. And this is a common theme that you'll see. Israel is Yahweh said, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, now that killeth the prophets. Um, you know, that's 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 what Israel does. 2/3 the wicked of our people will say like the wicked of our people, they despise the commandment of the Lord, right? And so verse 8, excuse me, verse 34 says, and therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. Now, using context clues, okay, ye heathen, okay, do you think that's talking about a a heathen, other heathen nation, or Israelite foreigner, right? Because again, you had the diaspora um, that had pretty much already happened, right? That word
Hmm.
diaspora is those Israelites that are scattered amongst the other nations. Okay.
Right, and when you go into that definition, it excludes everybody that's not an Israelite.
Yep. So you
Yeah, that's
got
what I'm
you
saying.
got
So even y'all scholars will tell you that it excludes you. You see, but hey, you got faith in white Jesus, and he gonna save you no matter what you do. Well, we got faith in Yahweh Shai to say he's gonna destroy our enemies. So you gonna have to deal with that.
yep. So it requires understanding. Like we're going back in history and recovering this stuff. But if you don't even know history up until this point, you're definitely not gonna. It's not gonna click, right? So it says, "Ye heathen that hear and understand." So the heathen, they're incapable of hearing or understanding. Matter of fact, real quick, just for fun, Psalms 147. All right. This is Psalms 147 and 19. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation.
Stop right there. What does that mean? What does that mean? Right? You hear something like that, and then you see in Malachi 3 and 6 where it say the Lord don't change his mind. It ain't nothing else left to talk to you about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So if the Lord don't change his mind and he chose Israel and he hate Esau, I'm not gonna argue with you about a bitch ass thing. Police, come get this faggot.
Man, and that's facts. No, Con, for real. And and I was gonna say that's why you have people that even amongst Israel, like of our nation, they call deconstructing the Bible. Like basically, you are smarter than the individuals that wrote the Bible, to where you're able to debunk it with logic. You're able to find inconsistencies in the text, but that's just really your lack of capacity to understand the spirit of what's being said. Okay, because I mean we broke it down already, but the scriptures doesn't contradict itself. Okay, so that means that you just don't understand. If this doesn't make sense to you after reading what we just read in Second Ezra 2, then the spirit of the Lord ain't dealing with you. Okay. So it says, verse 20, he hath not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay. So lets you know that this heathen has to be talking about Israelite foreigners. Okay. It says,
Mm-hmm.
therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand. Because the heathen's not, it wasn't given for them to hear and understand. The actual heathen, right? So this got to be talking about Israelites. It says, look for your shepherd. And Yahushua said he have not come but to save the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So this has to be talking about Israelites. All right. Yahushua is that shepherd. That's talking about Yahushua right here. Okay. It says, he shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. So when he came, the disciples that was reading scriptures like this, they're like, man, he shall come at the end of the world. So shoot, Yahushua, are you going to restore the kingdom now to Israel? The scriptures say you come at the end of the world. Scriptures like this, the expectation was there. You know,
You know what I'm saying? And his response was, it ain't for me to know. I don't even know. So it ain't for you to know. Just
yeah,
focus on this ministry.
yep. And so now you see how Israel, you know, because you had to get, you had the Northern Kingdom that was over here, and then Arsarith, North and South America, you know, they had to get it. So now we got the internet now. Like, there's no excuse now. You got niggas like Drewski making Israelite parody videos. So it's mainstream, bro. The truth is mainstream. Okay. No, there's
Man.
no you know what I'm saying? I'm surprised they ain't made a movie about it yet. Or maybe
Matter
they
of fact,
have.
get that be not deceived, God is not mocked.
Right, kind
Yeah, we gotta get that. We gotta get that if we gonna bring Drewski up.
of. Yeah. I'm sorry, I try not to,
Yeah,
but yeah,
big
that's what
fat
it is.
nigga with blonde hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nigga look like Big
Actually, it's
Shirley.
perfect scripture. Yeah, yeah, big, yeah, kind. Yep. Tyler Perry 2.0.
Yeah,
It
Big
says,
Shirley looking nigga talking shit.
this is Galatians 2, excuse me, Galatians 6 and 7. It says, be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So you can't get away. And like the scripture says, every idle word that a man shall speak, he shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. You can't speak. Well, really, that's one of the Ten Commandments, man. Taking the name of the Most High in vain. Like, there's certain things you just can't say. You can't, you can't joke about. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. After we get that, let's get they come.
What'd you say you want to get?
I will laugh when your calamity come. What's that?
Oh,
Proverbs 1 and 20 something.
Yep. Well, I know mock when your fear cometh. I think that's how it's worded. That's the one. Um, Yeah, this is the one you want. I don't know if this is the one you want here. Proverbs 1 and 16, 1 and 26. It says,
Yep,
I
that's it.
also,
That's it.
okay, yeah, this is Proverbs 1 and 26. It says, I also will laugh at your calamity and will mock when your fear cometh.
You see that? So while you laughing, making jokes of in earth, you know what I'm saying? So you made that joke, you got all dressed up, you put in the effort. So when your fear come, the Lord gonna laugh at your ass through the prophets. So hey, it is what it is.
That's right. All right. So that's point straight to the point. All right. Go back here to Second Ezra 2 and verse 35. So yeah, we got about less than 15 verses left. So this is another vision again on Mount Horeb, Mount Sinai. All right. It says verse 35, it says, be ready to the reward of the kingdom. All right, this is instructions. These are direct instructions to the elect. All right. For the rest of you scoffers and demons, this don't concern you. Okay. It says, be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Okay. Um, even the name Zion to Zion is a monument. I'm imagining like like a highlight, or what's it called, like a spotlight, excuse me, being put on a particular place. You know, that's we're supposed to be. Well, the scriptures talk about how Yahushua is going to be an ensign for the people. I'll get that real quick. I think that's in Isaiah. I think I might have spelled it wrong. Hold on. I think it's ensign for the people. Is it Isaiah 11? Yep, that's what I figured. This is man. Okay, here we go. Isaiah 11 and 10. It says, in that day there shall be a root of Jesse. Okay, which Jesse was the father of David. Okay, which came, you know, ultimately that line ended up being the line that Yahushua came through. All right, it says,
Man, that's a trip. I was watching that series, House of David on Prime, and they make it
mm,
like King David family despised him because Ruth was a Moabite.
oh, like
Yeah,
they despise Boaz or what?
no, they despised David. Yeah, they despised David
Oh, because
because yeah, they was making it like Jesse had a side chick and David was born out of wedlock type shit. So that's why his brothers hated him. You know,
oh hell no. That don't even make sense because Jesse, so it was so Boaz and then Obed, then Jesse. So Boaz got with Ruth. So all of them would have been all of David's sons would have been from Ruth, like lineage. So that don't make no sense. All of David's brothers would have been from that same from Boaz and Ruth. So that don't even make no sense. But I don't know if it cut off. Oh, it froze off. Okay, he'll be back in a little bit. All right. So let me see here. Oh yeah. Okay. So continue reading here. Wait, hold on. I think I was reading a precept, wasn't I? Oh yeah, I was reading Isaiah 11. Back in Isaiah 11 and 10, it says, "And in that day, there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek." Okay. Oh, that was an unintended precept. Okay, the Gentiles. Well, I already know what this word is. It's going to be. It should be gar or gawayum, but we'll get it just for edification, as opposed to nakar, which would be a heathen. But the Gentiles, okay, gawaya or gawayum, which is plural. Gawaya is singular. Gawayum is plural. So gawaya is um is a nation. This is the direct definition: a nation or people, the people of Israel specifically. Okay, a nation of Israel, the nation of Israel. All right, and anytime you see the Gawayam, it's a lot of times it's referring to Israelite foreigners, because when it says Gentiles, it's basically talking about somebody outside of the Commonwealth of Israel. And you can see there's a lot of footnotes on that. Some good stuff, but let's see if there's anything to good. Yeah, nothing pops out. Uh, Nothing pops out initially. So, but that was the point, you know. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Okay, so that ensign of the people. Oh, and that was the word that trigger word that made me get this precept. Ensign. Uh, it says lanas, but the word here is nas, and it says a standard. You know, something being lifted up, a signal, an ensign, a banner. Okay, a signal. So it says by implication, a flag staff, right? So a banner. So you see when you see that, you know it correlates with a specific uh, um, group of people. Okay, which that's ultimately the house of David. All right, so we're going to gather at that ensign. Okay, and Yahweh Shai ultimately represents that ensign. Okay, so going back here to Second Ezra 2. All right, it says all right, verse 36. It says, "Flee the shadow of this world, receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly." Okay.
I was like, now see, all this is in the apocrypha, but it's not a part of the scriptures. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't. I would say you can't. You can't just negate that. Well, it's not canon, so we don't believe it. Well, you don't understand the truth, bitch.
Facts.
You don't understand the scriptures. If you go, I would say, if you're gonna take part two out of the Godfather, you ain't gonna know what the fuck going on. If you take
Big
part
facts.
two out of a trilogy, you're not gonna know what the fuck going on. It's your goofy ass, all you stupid ass people, man.
That's right.
The
Yep.
dumbest people on the planet got the most shit to say.
Yep. That's what they're gonna get unalived. They're gonna get unalived, man. You know, they're vain.
That's right.
But they gonna come back. They're gonna come back, you know, already pre-packaged into a Slim Jim. They're not gonna have to snap into one. They're gonna be pre-packaged. Okay. So verse 37 it says, oh receive, oh receive the gift that is given to you, and be glad, giving thanks unto him that hath led you to the heavenly kingdom. All right. And it's 10 more verses. I think we can get through the rest of it. Okay, it says verse 38, arise up and stand. Behold the number of those that be sealed in the feast of the Lord. So now we're getting into the marriage supper of the Lamb, right? We're getting into the visions that John the Revelator was seeing, okay, regarding the 144,000, which we just read about in Revelation 14. Okay, it says verse 39, which are departed from the shadow of the world and have received glorious garments of the Lord, right? So that's the white, the garments of white, you know, in linen. Okay, we're gonna be our attire is going to be appropriate for the marriage, right? It says verse 40, take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay. And precept comes to mind in Romans. Okay. Establish the law. Okay. This is Romans 3 and 31. It says, do we then make void the law through faith? Most High forbid. Yea, we establish the law. So we're ultimately fulfilling the law, okay, through the law of the Lord, through the faith that we have in Yahweh Shai. Okay. And so it says,
And
verse
it a
41.
precept to say something about the law of faith.
Yeah, most actually, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Let me
think if
let me
you
look it up. Law of faith. Probably comes up a couple times. Yep, Romans 3. Oh, yeah, it was in the same chapter. Tripping. Romans 3 and 27. It says, "Where is boasting then? It is excluded." Because it talks about righteousness. If you have righteousness through performing the law, or righteousness through faith, right? It
Yep.
says, it says, "Where is boasting then? It is excluded by the law of works, nay, by the law of faith." Excuse me, but by the law of faith. Okay, so you can't boast in your works because your works are not perfect. All right, but faith can make you perfect in the eyes of the Lord through the sacrifice that Yahweh Shai made. That's the only way that we can get back on the good side with the Most High. All right, is
Con.
by partaking in the faith of Yahweh Shai. So the law of faith is, yeah, let's get the word law real quick, um, because it's more than just the than the actual law that we received. I do not like this new computer sometimes. It's also like a rule, like like a consequence, I should say. Like here we go. Here, yeah, yeah, okay. So the word law is nomos, and you can see there's multiple implications. It says anything established, received by usage, a commandment, right? So you have that type of law, and then you have a law or rule producing a state approved of the Most High. So like you you having faith is going to produce a certain effect, right?
Right.
Let's
That's
see here.
that's why the Lord gave us faith as a gift. You
Hmm.
see, that faith being given us as a gift, we're supposed to utilize it a certain type of way. It's only one way to utilize it. You see, you got it.
Hmm. Yep, and then even here it has two separate definitions for that word law. It says of the Mosaic law, and referring according to the context, either to the volume of the law or to its contents. And then you have another definition in the religion of Yahushua, the law demanding faith, right? So it's like you're commanded to have faith in
Follow the
Yahushua.
follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth with this faith that's been given to you. How about
That's
that?
it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's a commandment too, because Yahushua gave commandments too. A commandment is a law,
That's right. That's
you know.
right.
So that's the breakdown on that. So let me see. Going back here to second Ezra 2 and 40, where we at? 40 41. Right. It says the number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. And then you can read Revelation 7.
7. Yep.
Yeah, where it talks about that. I'm not gonna read all of them, just pull it uh to see to
Just
guide.
just go to that chapter and go to verse 3 or 4 and look up that word sealed.
Okay. All right, this is Revelation 7 and 3. That word for sealed, it says, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads." So that
Right. And
word,
you know that we've already established that that's the elect, starting with the 12,000 men from each tribe, and then you got the innumerable multitude, which is all the believers on Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Right? Now that word sealed. Don't bring the hurt until those are sealed, right? Let's get that word.
okay, that word sealed is sphragizo, and it says,
Security from Satan.
woo, man, yep.
So
It
we can
says,
move on.
yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. Point made, point made, man. Okay, the Tawah. Okay.
That's right.
All right. So and I was gonna just make the point in Revelation 7, really like from basically like verse 9 all the way down, probably like to like verse 15. You can read this in tandem with the last 10 verses in Second Ezra chapter 2. So I'm not gonna read it, but just there's the precept. So going back
Con.
to Second Ezra 2 and verse 41, it says, "The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord." To beseech means to desire, to beg, to plead for the power of the Most High. Okay, desire it. It says that thy people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed. Right. So we're invoking the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai to sanctify us, just like how Yahushua was sanctified by the Most High. Okay, that's what we were calling upon. That's what we want. All right. It says, I,
Yep.
Ezra, come. It says, verse 42, I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and all they, and they all praised Yahweh Shem Shai with songs. Okay, so this is talking about the last trump, the the deliverance of Yahweh Shai. Basically, the elect are sealed and delivered, right? This is that time.
Yep.
It
The
says,
consummation of the marriage in the chariots.
God, it says, and in the midst of them, there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly.
Right. And that's going into the deliverance from the hour of temptation. Right. The Lord said, if you keep my ways, I'll keep you in the hour of temptation. Don't let no man take your crown. You see?
Man,
And that crown is gonna be given to us by the Lord, man, if we endure to the end. You
that's
got it.
right. Yep. Yahweh Shai, he's gonna get that glory that he deserves, and he's going to share it with those that were down for him. It says, verse 44. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of the Most High. Now are they crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person? Oh, by the way, palms represent victory, by the way. And those that have put off the mortal clothing means you pass the test, all the tribulation, Jacob's trouble, you passed it. The fire,
Check
you
this
were
out.
tried.
Get
Uh-huh.
get get Revelation 20 and 4 real quick to back up what you're saying.
Okay, Con. Yep. Let's see here. Revelation 20 and 4. Because Jake just want to skip to this part and not thinking that they got to put in work. And you got to put it in.
That's what I'm saying. It tells you what work you got to put in. It
Yep.
specifies the work you got to put in.
Yep. It says Revelation 20 and 4 says, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, the testimony of Yahushua. All right, it says, and for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Mashiach 1,000 years.
All right, now you can go back to Sirach.
Yep, and a 1,000 year period is talking about
I mean,
the
second edge.
rebuild.
Sorry, Salakia.
Con. That 1,000 years is talking about that rebuilding period. Where Esau, he gonna still be around. All right, to build up and pay for all the shit that he did here, in this kingdom. Okay, and after that 1,000 year period, he gonna be done away with too. Okay, so we're gonna continue to reign after the 1,000 years, but that first 1,000 years is gonna be, recompense time and rebuilding time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, verse 46 says, "Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands?" Um, it says, So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them so that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord.
That's what I'm saying. How most stiffly can you stand and be beheaded? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
For the witness of a Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? And this right here is gonna happen before we come down and reign. You see, it gives you the order of how it's gonna happen. You know, you got it.
Kind. It says, verse 48, Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of Yahweh Shem Shah thy power thou hast seen.
You see,
You
and that's
know,
what Esdras did. You know what I'm saying? The
uh,
Lord put the spirit on him to write down what was written down, by his scribes, and we come in the same stead. Now that you see that the glory of the Lord is getting closer and closer to the planet, you're gonna have to man up, you're gonna have to fight, but you know what the reward is. You know what I'm saying? It
uh,
ain't like the Lord asked you to make yourself a living sacrifice and didn't tell you why or didn't give you no motivation for it, even though he didn't have to, but he did,
yep,
you know?
yep.
You got
Yeah,
anything else?
Yeah, I was gonna say like these well I said it already in the beginning, like these words that we have is meant for us to continue to push on and as encouragement and as a gift, you know. This is a gift from the Most High that basically the Lord used Ezra to preserve these words. So these are high level words being read here. So uh Lord willing next week, we get into chapter 3.
God.
All right, so Abaratazah, that was edifying. With that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, and those a great millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.